Hey guys, this is a video for a feature request and just a few things that'll meet compliance and mapping functionality needs. Anyway, I wanted to start it off by showing a current customer that has their farm mapped out in Agworld, but it's not really functional for printing a farm map. So currently we could see they've mapped out all their fields, but when the fields are pretty much the exact same shape and size, the labels will overlap each other. So if I zoom out, you can see that it's not functional to use this map for turning this into the Ag Commissioner's office to give them their crop map for that season. So because the labels are overlapping. One of the suggestions is allowing users to define their own labels so that they can move them around on the map. This will help with making sure that if you have overlapping labels for your fields, that you can do something different and create your own labels, or if you have other things that you want to map on the field or annotate or put something below your name description for the field name, you can do that. So right now, you can always come in and turn the field labels off and on. Same with pins. And the idea is that like pins, you could create a label. So say I wanted to label right here, that spot there, as something that needed annotation. I can say test label. So the idea would be, just like I selected the other pin, we could have another functionality which is just label. Now, the cool thing about having labels or pins is that you can move them around currently without, so if I wanted the label to be somewhere else, like right here, I can do that. And it gives me the label beneath it. So essentially, if we had one that was just a label, then we could use the tick box to turn the labels off or on. That would give people added functionality and allow them to annotate the map with text and no pin. So that's the first thing that would be really useful when doing field and crop maps. So as you can see here, this label is overlapping the other one. We'll edit it and move that pin down here. There we go. Save it. And now you can see test label is now visible, and both labels would be visible if the pin wasn't there. So first idea is just allowing users to create labels in the same way that they create pins. Delete this one. The next idea is allowing users to define surrounding crops. So currently, we have a certain number of pins that we provide to growers, and my suggestion is that we give them another pin type for surrounding crops. Now, the reason a user would want, there's several reasons why a user might want to display surrounding crops. Even in contiguous farms, there's still around the borders are going to be other crops that are not their own. They're not going to own all the crops that are contiguous, or fields. And so here, this could be an organic field. This could be, some other field that would be susceptible to an herbicide spray that was being applied to, say, 4B11 or 4B10. The applicator might want to know, hey, well, what are these crops down here? So if the prevailing wind is coming from the north, that these crops might be vulnerable to some drift. So the idea would be that we have another pin just called surrounding crops or something like that, and the user could just drop the pin on the map and say organic tomatoes. and they would then be able to choose, an organic or a surrounding crop pin, save that, and now we could see that, hey, these are organic tomatoes. And we could come up with a predefined pin that we could display on the maps when they're printing out maps for the applicators, or attaching them for the applicators. This would be really handy, and it would be a better solution, in my opinion, than the current Aggreen or what other people offer. Aggreen currently allows you to put in the north, south, east, west, what are the crops that are there, or you can do north, south, east, west, other surrounding crops, and it comes out kind of like a tic-tac-toe box, where it's just two lines, two vertical lines, two horizontal lines, and they have the target crop in the middle and then surrounding crops around the perimeter. We don't support surrounding crops at all, so it's kind of an issue. So here, this is actually one of my family's fields of pistachios, and there's an elementary school and three residences around the farm that need to get notified whenever we do a chemical application. So if we had a pin that allowed you to show the surrounding crops, and then maybe another label that said school, or allowed them to put labels there, maybe even like a phone number, then that would be on the map, and the applicator would then be able just to print that out or have that available to them, and they're in a printed digital form, a printed paper form, in addition to the digital form on the mobile devices. So I think that would be a really handy thing to do versus having north, south, east, west. We could actually mark these out with pins that could be moved around from year to year and relabeled, but the user could adjust them and move them to where they needed to, so that they could allow people to see the surrounding crops. So if we go back here, if I needed to move that pin, I could come in here, edit the pin, and say, okay, well, actually it's right there, save that, and now I can know that, hey, this field, as long as we put some crop or some pin that's specific to surrounding crops, they can know that, hey, the surrounding crop is organic tomatoes, and they need to be careful for drift. So it's just another way to communicate, and it doesn't really require any additional coding, I think, other than some new pins. Other pins that we're really lacking right now are traps for bug traps. It's really commonly used, and since we use them for scouting all the time for trapping insects, it's something that we should just have available to both the agronomy app and the scouting app. So currently, I'll just display that one again. There's our other trap. I preloaded a few other fields that are using pins a lot. Sorry, let's go to Leon. And they're currently using other pins for traps. And I think we've got quite a few users that are doing that right now. But you can see that it would be really nice to have that just differentiated as a separate type of pin, so you can filter them on or off. So right now you can just see the traps. So they've got lots of traps out in here, and then allowing users to create other types of pins in the future, just so we're ready to put more of those in. I mean, telephone poles might be something else that would be useful. So hey, there's a telephone pole in the middle of this row, so you're going to have to turn around or do something, or the wires are low, so you have to be careful when you're flying your helicopter or crop duster across the field. You don't want to hit the telephone poles because they're kind of hard to see at night. So that's, these pins are being widely used, and it's just something that I think there's room for improvement. So right now, these are all soil pins, and again, you can see these labels just really overlap. There's some significant overlap there. So yeah, they're using soil sample sites, but I know that for a fact that a lot of these are going to be tissue. That you can see this is a tissue site, so pink leaves, wire damage. So those are all going to be tissue samples, but they're using the soil sample pin instead. So I think we have some room for improvement on creating custom pins or just a few more pins that people can use, as well as labels. So that's the main reason here for this video. It's also the same for the iPad and iPhone apps. So that's pretty much the main reason. Let me know if you have any questions or want to go over this in more detail. Thanks.